Streaming now on Hulu in America and everywhere else. You can get it on Disney Plus, where this is brought to us by Dan, who's directed the Cloverfield movies, and it's just fantastic. Like, the cinematography and the setting is fantastic. Like, Naru, who's our main protagonist, we get to see her really develop and really try and prove herself as a hunter, and you can see that really early on where she's training out in the forest. Like, she's using the tree, she's throwing things, and everything's tracking, everything looks fantastic. Like, the contrasted color and the setup of everything is really good. Like, you really get to see her develop, you get to see her reasons behind it, where obviously the Predator franchise is really established, and we have a number of like sequels, and sort of it's really bloated in terms of they haven't really gone anywhere with the actual stories, where it hasn't really been developed in terms of the Predators, why they sort of come to Earth. I know they're seeking like the most advanced and best hunters, where this is the origin story I never knew we needed, and I still don't quite understand why we need it. It is flashy and the cinematography is great. There's some points where I'm like, it's a little bit too cheesy, to the point where it's really over the top, and I guess I'll make those comparisons a little bit later on, where it's between this film and the original. But we're focusing on Naru, who our timepiece is 1719. Obviously, it's a lot earlier than our original film, and we're focusing on the tribe aspects where they're out hunting, and Naru's really got to prove herself to the tribe that she is a hunter, where I'm not sure where the Predator sort of dropped in, and there was no reference to it from the originals or anywhere in the sequels, which, I mean, I guess they had free run at it, but there are a lot of references and fan service that are coming in from obviously all the other films, where it felt a little bit out of place. Naru's tribe and like warriors, they did not seem fazed by someone who's obviously invisible and is really different to whatever they've faced before. I know they've faced some, like, they call them lions, I'm not sure if they have lions there, but they're like mountain cats or leopards or whatever they are, and they have to go and prove themselves, where they are interrupted by obviously some French colonists who are coming in, and there are some, like, obviously some guns and stuff, so there's a little bit of that sort of colonizing coming in, where obviously I feel like you should be a little bit more worried about yourself, considering this invisible thing that clicks and groans and just absolutely wipes out everyone. She's not afraid and her tribes aren't afraid, and she's just becomes this absolutely boss of a hunter, where anytime the Predator was on there right at the start, it took a long time to get that reveal of the Predator, where I felt like we should have got that a little bit early on. I did like to see how his tech was a little bit more primitive than obviously our originals and our sequels that we get, where it sort of fits nicely in terms of the timepiece, but considering how much further technically advanced he was, like, surely he could have outsmarted our just anybody really on Earth. Like, consider, he's got high tech, he's got infrared, he's got all of that coming in, but he couldn't beat people who couldn't hit like a stationary target with a bow and arrow, which just seems really odd. And like, even Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't take on a Predator, and he had like obviously more advanced technology and was obviously a much bigger structural person than obviously Naru. But Naru is much like agile, much quicker. But even Schwarzenegger, he was nowhere near strong enough to take on a Predator one-on-one, where she's able to obviously use a tomahawk on a like on a string, and like she's able to knock it and cut his arm off. Like, I'm not sure how that sort of come into it, but without giving too much away, like, I really liked how they first established the hunting and the tribe and all the world building and the cinematography, but it just got a little bit too ridiculous. There was too much of a focus on just the hunting. Like, this movie was generally about 90% was just them out hunting, where when it finally did kick off with the French colonists and the Predator and everything that was going on, and that was only till the real late part of the film, where I was like, yes, this is what I was looking for, where the first probably half of the film felt really drawn out and it just didn't quite hit the mark. So unfortunately for me, this is the origin story we didn't need, where I think they just need to leave this franchise alone, or they need to go in depth of the Predators in their home world and establish how they've sort of like advanced and how they're going to these different planets, and what is their sort of real big angle that they're trying to do. That's what I would like to see if they're going to continue with these Predator films, rather than them keep coming to Earth in different time periods. But yeah, overall, like, it's a good action film at the later end of the film. Where at the start, it does establish well. It's very nice looking. It's very stylish with its editing and direction. It's just, it misses that substance in the middle, where unfortunately for me, it's a 2 out of 5. Let me know if you've watched it or you're going to watch it. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we do have daily reviews. And yeah, make sure you tell your friends, because we got more to come.